Hey guys, it's yours truly. You know, hope everybody's having a good new year so far. We're in 2020 now, and the Super Bowl just passed not that long ago. We got Valentine's Day approaching us soon from now. So I hope everybody among us is feeling in the amorous spirit with our partners. And going on along those lines, you want to spend the best time that you can. We've touched on that, in a previous segment. But, the one thing that I wanted to, touch on is, I was watching that, and you guys can make fun of me if you want, but it was just on TV the other night. I was watching Transformers Age of Extinction. And, it got me thinking about that one scene. Well, I was watching the scene where, the guy, Cade's daughter, she has a boyfriend. And, this guy walks around with a little card explaining the Romeo and Juliet laws of, if you've previously had an existing relationship with somebody younger, it's okay, kind of thing. If you were younger than when your partner is under the age of consent, but you were younger as well, and then you guys both grow up. It's kind of if you guys know what it is, you know what I'm talking about. But that's kind of a topic that doesn't come up. Well, it comes up quite a bit, but a lot of people sort of just tend to discard it and disregard it. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we're all free to date whoever we want, as long as it's legal. Within the rules of the law, and if you're not literally physically hurting your partner or anybody else because of it, I say, do what you like. I'm from the Bay Area. I grew up in Digital Underground. Do what you like. So I subscribe to that theory, and you can't hate on really anybody, for doing that. And there's no but to that. But as I'm transitioning to another topic, it's the big age difference, like the age gap. Like when you talk about what they call the May December romance, and yeah, that's not a big deal most of the time. But you got to think about it sometimes. Like if you do subtract those ages. Like, I saw a situation just a couple of days ago, too, actually, where this girl, she's like 34, 35 years old. And she's married to a 70-year-old dude, literally 70-year-old dude. And I'm thinking to myself, like, even when she was, 21, he was in his late 50s. And or can you imagine like a college girl, like a senior girl in college dating a 56-year-old guy? And you can, if you want to date somebody like that, you by all means you can. If you're a 56-year-old dude and a 21-year-old girl wants to make a run at you, don't get in her way. I'm not going to hate on that. It's just, there might be a stigma attached to that. Can you imagine like maybe what her close friends or, her family may think of that situation? A dad may say, well, I don't want my daughter dating some guy that's older than me, or, somewhere along those lines. And at the end of the day, your happiness is what should matter most, right? Like if you're happy with somebody, then that's who, you should be able to be with, regardless of what anybody else thinks about it. So I just, I want to hear some of your guys' opinions about like the age gap of dating. Does that really make a difference between genders as well? Should there be a different stigma attached to, say, a 56-year-old woman dating a 21-year-old guy, or like a 32-year-old guy dating a 19-year-old girl, or vice versa, a 32-year-old woman dating a 19-year-old guy. You know, that's in the grand scheme, that could be a bit of an age difference. I mean, you got somebody who's 32 now and somebody they're with that's 19. Think about if you subtract just a few years, take 5 years. So 32 minus 5 is 27, 19 minus 5 is 14. Can a 27-year-old really date a 14-year-old? That's really kind of unpleasant I mean, it is unpleasant to think about. Any gender, from 27-year-old woman to 14-year-old boy, or 27-year-old man to 14-year-old girl. And then so you add 5 years. Now one's 19, the other one's 32. Maybe that sounds okay. So let's discuss, what about how that age difference happens in maturity? Because a 27-year-old really isn't going to mature that much more from 27 to 32. They probably will, because we can all evolve with our maturity. But you're asking a lot of maturity to happen from somebody who's 14 to 19. That's like a lifetime of maturity that has to happen for somebody. So when I'm talking about age gaps, we have to talk about where is like I don't want to say a comfort level, because sometimes the age gap is really uncomfortable for a lot of people. But is there like a certain point where, no matter how old the older person is, the younger person's age is like the beginning acceptable age, to where you just say, okay, well, I'm not going to raise an issue on that because this person's already that old, and we don't have to worry about that anymore because that they've reached a certain age, maturity level, whatever have you, and let them be who they are and what they are. But so back to the original situation, what I mentioned, you got somebody that's 70, a guy that's 70, and he's married to this 35-year-old chick. Even take 18 years off of the 35-year-old woman. Now she's 17. Take 18 years off of the 70-year-old guy, and he's 52. So can you really imagine a 52-year-old dude dating a 17-year-old? Like I said, that's just, I mean, in the grand scheme, that's just really not acceptable. And people's opinions are going to differ on that. But like I said, I want to hear what people have to think along those lines, because that could really be, some people may not be too comfortable with that. Some people might just say, well, that's okay. So when you have a 35-year-old with a 70-year-old, people probably won't really bat an eye, but it's like, and I don't want to say this like in a negative way, but it's like, well, how much longer is that going to last? I don't think that 35-year-old woman is really going to anticipate really growing into her oldest age with this partner anymore, because that partner's probably not going to, unless he's got some super serum, he's not going to go 40, 50 plus more years, in the most likely scheme. But, and that's fine as long as she wants to, take it to that level. But at the end of the day, too, I mean, should we really date to our, age group level? Like, should we have like a plus or minus 5 year difference, or plus 10, minus 10 age difference? Does it not matter? Like, once you reach over the age of 18, can you just date whatever? If you're 18, can you just date a 91-year-old, even though 5 years ago that 91-year-old was 86 and you were 13? So, like I said, some people can date, like I said, whoever they want, but I want to hear opinions about, are there certain age gaps that you're not comfortable with, or is it just, free for all out there in the world, from gender to gender? It doesn't matter. But, like I said, we're going to love who we love. And, if you really love somebody, don't let nothing get in the way of that. And at the end of the day, you know, love is what we all need in this world. Shout out to John Lennon. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I will bid you guys adieu for today. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below. And I will see you guys soon. Talk to you later.